Moto2 European Championship action on the way then here at the circuit Barcelona de Catalunya here in the Catalunya region of Spain. Its circuit was built in 1991. The construction of the circuit coincided with the Olympic Games hosted in Barcelona in 1992. 4.7 kilometers long, that's just under 3 miles. 14 corners around this incredible circuit. 8 to the right and 6 to the left. It's a circuit that has played host to some historic moments in motorsport involving names such as Ayrton Senna, Nigel Mansell and Michael Schumacher in the car racing world. And of course, it was the scene of an incredible race that no MotoGP fan will ever forget between Valentino Rossi and Jorge Lorenzo back in 2009. But this weekend, it's hosting the Finetwork FIM JuniorGP World Championships. And we've got Moto2 European Championship action on the way here in Barcelona. The big news going into the weekend, or starting off the weekend in FP1, was the championship leader Senna Agius, who only managed 2 laps in FP1 before he high-sided coming out of turn 1, and he won't be racing this weekend. He should be back for Aragon, but he high-sided out of turn 1, broke the I think it was the 4th and 5th metacarpal in his hand, Chris, and unfortunately won't be racing this weekend. So an opportunity for some of the riders to pick up some valuable points here this weekend, with of course Tatai out as well. It'll be myself, Tristan Finocchiaro and Chris Jordan bringing you all of the action here in Moto2, but drama before racing has even kicked off. Here's the highlights then of what happened last time out. It was Senna Agius that started both races from pole position and just flew away off the line, with Carlos Tatai sat there in 2nd position. Alberto Sura was making incredible moves on the number 67 machine, and he bagged 2nd place in race 1. Agius ticked the laps away and did an incredible job on the number 81. Garcia and Tapia were making moves as well, but it was Agius who took victory in race 1 and added to his tally in the Moto2 European Championship. He started from pole position in race 2 as well and got a good start ahead of Xavi Cardelus. Moves were being made further back between Roberto Garcia. Marco Tapia was in there as well as Xavi Cardelus. Alberto Sura was also defending that 4th place from Tapia, the number 8 machine. But it was Agius that pulled away out the front and did exactly what he needed to do, taking 2 wins from 2 in Portugal. A brilliant wheelie and a brilliant stoppie for the number 81. He took full points away from Portimao. Roberto Garcia picking up his first podium as well. Unfortunately, though, won't be here this weekend. Like I said, myself, Tristan Finocchiaro and Chris Jordan will be bringing you all of the action. No Agius this weekend and no Carlos Tatai.
Yeah, it's a huge disappointment for Senna Agius. He was coming into this weekend and realistically it looked like he may have wrapped up the title. Unfortunately, he was 61 points ahead, and unfortunately he's going to miss out. And having caught up with him yesterday, he was speaking about it, clearly gutted by the injury, and explained the injury to us. It was a high side and getting his hand caught on the handlebars. A nasty one, and we do wish him a speedy recovery. In terms of timing, well, we've got the summer break, so he will be back for the Aragon round and out to seal the title. And you mentioned Carlos Tatai as well. So for the big crash last time out in Portimao, and we are wishing him a speedy recovery. It was a big incident, and it was so great to see during the week him posting it to Instagram with a thumbs up and a big smile across his face. But the absence of both riders means a little bit of history is on here today. So Xavi Cardelus is on pole, and this is what he had to say.
We were struggling a bit during these last 2 seasons on the qualifying. It was so difficult to find this half a second to be on the pole, for example, as today. That's the gap I had from the second rider, so quite happy about that. First of all, it's important to try to reduce the gap on the championship. I have a good opportunity, so zero pressure. Just try to enjoy riding last race, and it will come for sure. We are working so good on used tires these days, so this gives me extra motivation for these 2 races, because also will be very hot conditions, and for sure will be not easy. So, but we are ready.
With Senna Aegis out of the action, then all eyes are on Xavi Cardelus, who is yet to win a race in the Moto2 European Championship. He's been a part of the category since 2015 and is going to be looking to pick up that first victory. He's half a second clear in qualifying on that pole positions, finished in every race so far. He's going to be looking, like we say, to pick up that first victory. This is essentially a home round for the Andorran rider, the closest circuit to home for Xavi Cardelus here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, and he'll be eager to taste champagne on the top of that rostrum.
Yeah, with the absence of Aegis, he's 61 points behind the Australian in the standings, and he has looked the fastest rider here all weekend. It is a huge, huge opportunity for him. First to debut on the top step here in the Moto2 European Championship, but also reel in the runaway championship leader. Nico Antonelli then starts P2. He's got a podium to his name. That came in Estoril in the opening round. Another rider who will be chasing a first ever win. In fact, the little bit of history I had mentioned previously, we have no riders on the grid who have been on the top step in Moto2 yet, so a new name will debut on the very top step of the box. Will it be Cardelus? He starts as the favourite from pole, but Nico Antonelli will definitely have plenty of questions to pose.
Antonelli, a name you'll be familiar with from the Grand Prix paddock over at World Championship. Unai Radre on the front row here in Barcelona. He's only finished in the inside the top 10 once this year, and that was back at Jerez with that eighth place. He was a fast runner over in the World Supersport 300 category, also raced in the World Supersport 600 category as well, over in the World Superbike Championship. Also ESBK champion in 2021. He's going to be looking to try and pick up that first podium. A brilliant result here in qualifying for him, and a perfect opportunity with Aegis missing.
Yeah, recently his qualifying form has been excellent, but it's yet to really turn into Sunday race pace. Now, a rider who had plenty of Sunday race pace last time out, Alberto Sura, starts from P4. He put in a very, very impressive opening race performance at the Algarve, starting a little bit further back on the grid, but he challenged Senna Aegis across the opening laps, managed to even get ahead of him, I think 2 or 3 laps in, but a long lap penalty came his way. And after coming through there, he slotted back into P5, but still managed to get second on the podium.
Yep, so riding over in the Moto3 World Championship last year, stepping up to the Moto2, but over in the European class. Here's Roberto Garcia. He picked up his first podium in the European Moto2 Championship last time out in the Algarve in Portimao. He's going to be hoping to replicate that. He's in the middle of the second row. He's got that perfect line down into turn 1 for the 17-year-old. Got very close also to a podium in Aragon, but retired out of 3rd place. But he's done it now, and he's going to hoping that that's opened the floodgates for more to come.
Yeah, real breakthrough podium in race 2 at the Algarve. He's been very consistent this season too. He hadn't stood on the podium prior to that, but he was consistently among the top 5, top 6 riders in this class. So we've seen it so often. Once that first result comes, then the series of them come after. The floodgates open. Alex Toledo, he's got podium experience in this class, but that came in 2022. As you can see there, consistently among the top 10, yet to really scale the heights of a podium challenge. I'd keep an eye on him though from the second row. He looks like he could do something this weekend.
Yeah, Toledo from Tarragona is local track, I guess, for him, about 100 kilometers south of here. His only podium in this category was here in 2022, where he started from the front row, so very much a home hunting ground for the Catalan. And then just behind Toledo, we've got Piotr Bershakirski, the veteran of the category, yet to score any podiums this year, the 21-year-old. He's had a difficult season, a few DNFs this year.
Yeah, he's on the comeback from the injury trail as well a little bit, so he's looking to build a good run of form. P6 in the Algarve last time out, then the perfect platform for him to build upon. He is a talent. We've seen him on the World Championship stage as well. Just hasn't quite got the run of form going here on the European stage as of yet.
Here's a little look at Harrison Voigt then, who lines up 8th place on the grids, had 1 podium so far this year. That was back at Estoril Race 1, the very first race of the year, and hasn't finished a race since. So I guess he can say he's finished on the podium in every race that he's finished, but he's going to want a bit better than that. He's stepped up from the Moto3 category this year and really taking to the Moto2. Just a little bit of bad luck for him this year.
Yeah, I think you're clutching at straws a little bit there with being on the podium in every race he has finished, but
it's true though.
He still has won P3 in the opening race in Estoril, and he was super impressive in that race. I was at it and attending it, calling it with our friend and colleague Liam Hodgins, and he put in a super impressive performance, but he's just been a little bit unlucky since he's got mixed up in crashes and crashed out a lot. As we look at Marco Tapia, yet to get a podium in this class, but a double P4 last time out is plenty of encouragement coming into this one.
Yeah, the 16-year-old from Mallorca will be looking for a good result here in Barcelona. He was 15th in Moto2 back in 2022. His best result, P4 last time out in both races at Portimao, and that was actually his first top 5. So hoping to ride the crest of a wave here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Yari Ruiz rounds out the top 10 then. He's had 1 podium so far this year on his Boscoscura machine. Brilliant to see the Boscoscuras over here in the European Championship as well as over in the Moto2 World Championship. It's good to see a variation of chassis here in Moto2. Obviously they all run that same engine, but having that variation just makes it that ever so slight. That just gives it extra little bit of spice.
Absolutely. So we're going to have just a couple minutes now to race start. Just over 3 minutes until we see lights out here. As you can see, the temperatures, well, as you could probably see, maybe not feel, but the temperature here is quite high. I think it's gone above 30 degrees as the day progresses and we approach midday. So those umbrellas are playing a crucial role in keeping our riders cool and composed. Xavi Cardelus then, he'll be looking to start from pole and make it count.
Right, then we await the start of the warm-up lap for these guys. This here is your grid. Cardelus then is half a second clear on pole position ahead of the Grand Prix, ex-Grand Prix rider Nico Antonelli, and Unai Aredre. Alberto Soro rounds out row 2 ahead of Garcia and Toledo. Piotr Bershakirski heads row 3 ahead of Harrison Voigt and Marco Tapia.
Then it's Yeray Ruiz, Mattia Rato and Monjardo on row 4. Sam Wilford starts from 13 with Yeray Ruiz and Mattia Volpi. On the 6th row, Maxwell Toth is joined by Kyle Paz and Montero, while Rejacek, Hobby and Chananinta complete the grid here for your Moto2 Race 1.
21 riders set to do battle at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for round 5 of the Moto2 European Championship. The pressure is on Cardelus. Can he pick up his first win after being involved in the series since 2015? Whatever happens here, we will have a first-time winner in this championship. They get the warm-up lap underway, and you've got to be thinking that there's a lot of pressure now resting on the shoulders of Cardelus, but in a way there isn't, because he knows he's half a second clear at the front of the field, and he knows that he's got that extra little bit of time in his back pocket, but you can't discount a rider like Antonelli.
Yeah, absolutely, and one lap pace is very different to a race pace. Cardelus has been mightily impressive this season. He's been probably, I'd say, the best of the rest. The Senna Aegis has dominated, and Carlos Tatai picked up the other win, but he's been on the podium 3 times this season, so he has shown strong levels of consistency. There are plenty of other threats out there. Nico Antonelli, as you already mentioned, he's got such pedigree. He's got a podium. He needs to pick up things a little bit. But Alberto Sura is my one to watch from the 2nd row. He is a huge talent, and he really came to the fore last time out in Portimao.
Yeah, well, keep an eye on Unai Aredre. He'll be hungry to taste the champagne on the podium, hungry to get inside the top 5. His best result so far has been 8th place back at Jerez, and he lines up on the front row as well. We get this warm-up lap underway then, and Antonelli wants to lead away on this warm-up lap. You see varying tactics on these warm-up laps. Some riders like to go ahead and lead the way on the warm-up lap. Others like to hand back, so they're not waiting on the grid too long, because obviously the longer that you're waiting on the grid, the longer the nerves build, but every rider likes to do it differently. Aegis then 61-point lead, and the worst possible scenario for Aegis if Cardelus wins both races is he'll leave here with an 11-point lead. So not the end of the world for Aegis, but obviously not what he wanted, because he could have wrapped it up here this weekend. But the attention now is on your front three: Cardelus, Antonelli and Oradre. Also keep an eye on Sura, Garcia and Toledo coming from the second row as well. The tensions are rising then as they head onto the grid. And we're about to have 16 laps of this incredible Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya.
So then all eyes on the number 18. What can he do with this golden opportunity for a maiden Moto2 European Championship win, a chance to reel in an absent Senna Aegis, and starting on pole position?
The attention turns to the lights then. The red flag is raised at the front of the grid, and we wait to get this race started. The safety cars deployed at the back of the grid, and we are just moments away from European Moto2 action here in Barcelona. Attention turns to the lights for the first time this weekend for the Moto2 European Championship, and it's a good start from the number 23 of Nico Antonelli. Will he get the whole shot down into turn one? Cardelus has been swallowed as Alberto Sura comes from the second row of the grid. And then Roberto Garcia is then who leads down into turn one. It's Garcia then from Sura. And the number 10 there's made it a brilliant start as well.
And we've lost somebody. I see a name flying down the, maybe it's just my timing screen and transponder issue, but a shocking start from Xavi Cardelus. So much wheelie coming off the line, but it's number 31, Roberto Garcia, who was on the podium, debuted on the podium. We said that he could have been a breakthrough win for him and the floodgates may open. Well, he has got the perfect start here. Alberto Sura, we tipped him as well to make a charge as Alex Toledo dives up the inside for fourth place. But Xavi Cardelus has recovered. He was swallowed up alive at the beginning of that at the beginning of lights out, I should say, as I put my teeth back in. The number 10 then, Unai Oradre, has gotten off to a decent start as well, but he runs onto the green slightly there. He flicks the hand behind. Follow me, boys. No chance, fellas. So it's Roberto Garcia who leads.
Going to take a terrible line through there, but follow me anyway, says Toledo. Right then, Alberto Sura is that snatches the lead from Roberto Garcia. Garcia picked up his first podium last time out. Oh, and it's so close through there. He makes contact and sits up the number 67 on that Buscascuro machine. Cardelus then right on the rear wheel as well. It looks as if this front three are breaking away ever so slightly now on this first lap. Yari Ruiz with a mountain, well, a big hill to climb to get to this front three.
Yeah, the front three have gapped Yari Ruiz there pretty quickly, just coming on to the conclusion of this lap. But brilliant stuff from Roberto Garcia then to recover the lead. Alberto Sura, Garcia and Cardelus are your front runners here, and they once again get very, very close. This time coming into turn one, but it's Alberto Sura then who gets the better of that exchange, but he lost a little bit of drive flicking around the left there, and Garcia closed up very quickly. Cardelus in third. We've been saying all eyes on the Andorran, but it has not been the best of starts, but he's looking to make his way back up the inside of Garcia there, swinging around the right-hander as they attack the left. Another right-hander here. Well, this could go anyway. Cardelus is looking to make some positions up here, but Alberto Sura is in control.
See Cardelus there trying to take the tight lines, trying to get the drive on that promo racing machine. He's just got to be careful he's not using too much of the tyre there, turning it tight and trying to get the power down to try and make a move on Roberto Garcia. There's still 14.5 laps to go of this Barcelona circuit, so there's no rush for the Andorran rider, and you feel like it's only a matter of time as he's all over the rear wheel of the number 31. Alberto Sura just edging onto track limits there ever so slightly. Not sure if he quite ventured out onto there, but it was very, very close for the Italian.
Oh, that's very close. And Alex Toledo does not look happy. He has a stern look over. I'm not quite sure who it was. Was it Harrison Ford? Well, he was not happy with him. He very much made contact, lunging up the inside of the left-hander, and bunts Toledo down a position into P6, I think he is now, maybe down into 7th actually.
Right, so it is then that leads, and they've just gapped Cardelus on the exit of the final corner, and it looks as if Garcia is eyeing up a move into turn one. He's right in the slipstream of the Italian. He pulls to one side, not quite late enough on the brakes though. Surra very, very strong down into turn one. They flick it right, they flick it left through that first complex, and then there's this long right-hander. This will chew up the rear tyre, and you can see Garcia now looking eager to make a move. Here's a replay of what happened down into turn one. Slow-mo here of the guys.
Beautiful shot coming into turn one. Garcia has the advantage from lights out, but you can see Cardelus made a quick recovery after dropping to, what, 6th position coming into turn one, turn two. But back into the live, and it's Alberto Surra who still leads.
Radre's looking menacing in the background, trying to find his way past Yari Ruiz. He's eager to see if he can latch onto the back of these guys at the front, and they're not too far away here. You just feel ever so slightly that Surra is just holding these guys up, but we'll just have to wait and see what they can do after they get past the Italian, if they can manage it. But it looks as if Garcia is definitely eager to give it a go. Radre having a look at the inside of Yari Ruiz, he's making that stick. The number 10 slots up the inside of the number 72. Can Radre catch these front three? Harrison Voigt is stuck in there as well. He's looking menacing, looks as if he wants to try and make moves there. On the number 29 machine, you can just hear how loud these Moto2 machines are through that stadium section. Deafening.
Yeah, Unai Radre started 4th. He's had a couple of decent qualifyings, we mentioned it prior. It looks like he's finally found the key to translate that into race pace. As it bunches up out front again, it's still Surra who leads, but it looks like Garcia has got the slipstream coming into turn one. Will he get the inside line? Cardelus, it's a double slipstream, and he's making his move. He's got ahead of Garcia. Beautiful. Is he going to keep it pinned? Brilliant, brilliant stuff from the Andorran. Absolutely superb move. 2 for 1 coming into turn one. Braked late and kept it pinned.
Third to first in one fell swoop for the number 18. Is he going to put the hammer down? It is crunch time now for Cardelus. Will these guys be able to go with him? Garcia's all over his rear wheel at the moment. Doesn't look like Cardelus is going anywhere at the moment, but still just over 12.5 laps to go of this motorcycle race. Radre is making good inroads in on Alberto Surra. We'll have to keep an eye on that on the timing screens, but it looks as if visually that he is closing in ever so slightly then. He's not going anywhere at the moment, is Cardelus, but still plenty of time left to go in this race. Here's another look at that move, timed it to perfection. Garcia had a look up the inside of Surra, but at the same time, Cardelus 2 in 1 down into turn one, and it just showed the rookies of the category how to do it. Right then, Surra makes a move now up the inside of Garcia. Surra back into P2, but Garcia gets the cut back and slots himself right back up the inside of the Boscoscuro rider. Fastest lap for Cardelus on that last lap. And Radre.
Wow, he has wasted no time after getting past Yari Ruiz, and he has got the hooks into this lead 4. So he has very much found that race pace he so craved. He put in some excellent sector times this lap already, and he was the quickest going through sector 2, and he's one of the quickest through sector 3, and the quickest again through sector 4. A 2.76, a 1.44, 2.76, the fastest lap of all the riders on track last time out.
Yeah, and that lap time would have put him second on the grid in qualifying, faster than Nico Antonelli, and only 2/10 shy of what Cardelus did in qualifying, and he was half a second clear of the field. So an absolutely incredible lap from the number 10, and he's well in the mix here. We have a 4-bike battle for the lead in Moto2. This is incredible scenes here in Barcelona. Let's hope it stays like this for the rest of this motorcycle race. Cardelus then leads from Garcia, the number 31, number 67, that's Alberto Surra, the only rider in this top 3 on the Boscoscuro machine. All other 3 riders on that Calyx chassis, all running that same Triumph engine though, of course. All standard engines here in Moto2 to try and keep the racing as close as possible, and it's working here out the front as Cardelus leads from Garcia, Surra and Radre.
Yeah, since Cardelus has been out front, he hasn't really had any questions posed. As you can see, Radre just set the fastest lap, a 1:44.276. Really, really good time. But yeah, nobody has really had a question for Carlos since he's gone out in front. Garcia's just tucked in behind him, but it's all about what Unai Oradre can do now. He is showing incredible pace. He got by Yeray Ruiz about a lap and a half ago. Look where Yeray Ruiz is, and look at the difference in times and space between the front four and where Yeray Ruiz is. Brilliant stuff from Oradre. He's going to get into the slipstream here. Maybe he's just a little far back to make a move, but definitely want to keep an eye on the number 10.
Right then, Surra. Oradre now up into second place, and Oradre is on the move on that number 10 machine. He's looking menacing. Carlos is just escaping here. They're going to have to be careful. It wasn't an incredibly fast lap on that last lap for Carlos, a 45 flat, so 7/10 shy of what Oradre put down earlier on. It's just these guys scrapping has allowed him to just pull away ever so slightly. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one, just see if they can reel him back in by the end of this lap. If anyone can do it, it looks as if Oradre has the pace to be able to do it. Oradre then putting the hammer down, Surra all over his rear wheel. I take back what I said earlier about Surra holding them back. He definitely wasn't. He's clinging on to these guys and he's matching their pace perfectly.
Yeah, he's putting in a good ride here. It's Roberto Garcia who lost out big time from that Unai Oradre move as he moves off the podium positions. I thought Oradre was going to be too far back off the back of Garcia to make a move. But he gets a 2 for 1 coming into turn 1. What do I know, Tristan?
Well, when we assume we get proved wrong here in Moto2 as Garcia slots himself up the inside of Alberto Surra. Can he get the cut back? No, he can't. Garcia was wise to that move.
I tell you what, mate, we're putting the commentator's curse on Surra there, saying he was doing well. We've done it a couple of times, so maybe we'll stop making predictions over the next couple of laps for the sake of the riders. But it is still Carlos out front, but Oradre is approaching fast.
Incredible performance from Oradre then. His current best result is 8th place, so no matter where he finishes, it'll be an incredible result for him. But he's not settling for anything less than the win here. He has got himself right onto the back of Carlos, and he's not letting the number 18 have it his all way. Here's a little look at Sam Wilford, currently sat in 6th place in this race. The Brit, he's been involved in the championship since 2019. Before then, he was racing Moto2 in the British Superbike Championship that runs the Moto2 category, that was running with Supersport, also ran in Supersport, racing the RRV 450s in the past, in Thundersport, in the Aprilia Super Teens as well. So he's been around a while as Sam Wilford, and he knows these European tracks well at all. But are we going to have a change for the lead here? Oradre having a little look, but no rush just yet. 10 laps remaining.
Yeah, just showing him a little wheel. Oradre showing a little wheel to Carlos just to let him know, I'm here, I'm putting the pressure on you. Any mistake, I will be ready to pounce. And there are 3 riders following Carlos. Oradre looks best placed at the moment to challenge him for the lead, while Garcia and Surra are battling for that final podium place. Garcia showing some good pace here. Yeray Ruiz, he's in a world of his own in 4th place, with Rato and Wilford battling just for 6th and 7th. Wilford, if he can get ahead of Rato and come home 6th, that would be a season best result for him and a sign of clear progress for the British rider. Nico Antonelli, we haven't mentioned him all race. He started P2, he's down in P9. I'm not quite sure what happened to the Italian, but he's behind Tapia and just ahead of Toledo. Harrison Voigt as well has dropped back, as has Peter Bershikerski, so less than ideal races for a number of who we thought would be contenders from the 1st, 2nd row.
Yeah, a bit of a damp squib for Nico Antonelli, starting from the front row, but have a look at this action out the front. Garcia chucks it up the inside of Oradre. Not a lot of room through there, but he doesn't care. He shoves it up the inside anyway, and he's up into 2nd place.
Getting very close there. Brilliant move from Garcia. We were just saying Oradre looked the best place. Again, we put the commentator's curse on. What do we know, Tristan? What do we know?
Clearly nothing.
We know Garcia is in 2nd place and Unai Oradre is on for a 1st ever podium. But there's a lot of legs left in this one. Still, 9 laps to go.
Right, hammer down time for Carlos. He's got a slight bit of breathing space with these guys battling it out the back, but we've seen time and time again they're able to reel it back in, despite Carlos putting the hammer down at the front.
Yeah, we just see on our timing screens that Chanan Inta is in pit lane. It looks like his day is over, but that won't affect what's going on out front here. Cardelus still holding on as the leg is flying off from Unai Radre there.
He does that every corner. I've noticed it's on that outside leg. He just lifts his foot. Oh, yeah, as he makes a move down into turn 10. And Garcia gets it back.
But Garcia on the cutback. Brilliant stuff from Garcia. Good effort from Radre. And let's just keep an eye on that leg.
You can see it again.
He loves to lift the leg coming around some of these corners.
It became quite popular not so long ago, that sort of style of what he's doing is he's using that outside leg to push on the tank and push the bike into the corner. Of course, riding is all in the legs, so he's using that outside leg, like I said, to push the tank, push the bike into the corner. He's just, whilst doing that, his outside leg is just lifting off the foot peg. We saw it a lot from Luke Stapleford over in the British Superbike paddock as well, a style that he adapted quite a lot. But these guys now out the front, just as you try and explain something, they make a move and just ruin your little run of form.
I think you could have gone down a rabbit hole there, Tristan, explaining that, so maybe it was for the best. No, but it's super interesting stuff to know this. We've got a yellow flag at turn 1 and 2. I'm not sure who has gone down there. But it is Cardelus out front. Sura was making a move. It's still the 1, 2, 3, 4 as it was, but Sura was having a look upside. And just as I say that, Radre forces himself up the inside of Roberto Garcia. And that has cost Garcia 2 places as Sura sees his opportunity and strikes. But wow, he's given up the position there. And we just mentioned Nico Antonelli started second on the grid. Well, his day has just gotten a lot worse. He will not be seeing the checkered flag after dropping like a stone through the pack. He is now crashed out of contention.
Radre a bit wide through there. Yeah, unfortunately, that's a sight we've seen too many times. That graphic popping up to say Nico Antonelli has crashed out of a motorcycle race has just been an absolute curse for Antonelli, the gravel trap. As Sura has a look at the inside of Garcia. Sura makes that move stick on the Boscoscuro with the yellow flashes. Radre, though, so impressed by him this race. He's not starstruck at all. He's not fazed by the fact that he's fighting for victory. His best result, like we said before, has been 8th place. He's getting well stuck in the mix.
Yeah, he's having a super run here. Let's see if he can maintain it. How is his race stamina? Because he had such a super start. Remember, he was in 5th place and about 30-40 meters behind these guys, battling with Yeray Ruiz for 5th place. Ruiz, speaking of, has dropped to 6th at the expense of Rato, but he gapped the gap in front of the top 3 to that 4th and 5th place. He made that up in no time, in less than a lap. So he's put in a serious effort here over the opening half, just over the opening half of this race. But with 7 to go, it'll be interesting to see if he can maintain that pace. He's putting in super effort, and by far and away his best performance to date in the Moto2 European Championship. Here we look at the number 13 of Rato. He's already gotten by Yeray Ruiz, who has dropped to 6th, with 5th place Mattia Rato.
Yeah, that battle for 5th hearting up nicely as then. Battles all the way through the field here in Moto2. Yeray Ruiz trying to find his way past the number 13 of Mattia Rato. Yeray Ruiz, a rider just 19 years old, at a podium back at Jerez. These guys at the front now. Radre all over the rear of Cardelus. Cardelus rear just stepping out there on the change of direction. And it just feels like Radre wants to make a move here. He's getting, like I say, all over the rear wheel of Cardelus. And he's having a little look at turn 10. Just maybe a cheeky look for later on in the race. Cardelus a little bit wider than Radre through there, but no room through as they flick left through the next sector. The next corner, sorry.
Yeah, a little peek up the inside of Cardelus there. Looked like he may have just left the door open, but
maybe a sign of things to come.
Shut. Yeah, again, we've seen him a couple times just offer a wheel to Cardelus. Cardelus, though, is doing well. Radre is swarming all over him. He's not letting him get away at all. A little bit of a gap has opened now from the battle for 1st to the battle for 3rd, with Garcia just behind Alberto Sura. Let's see, here we go now. Radre has gotten in front here coming down the straight into turn 1, but Cardelus is later on the brakes. Brilliant stuff from the Andorran, and he remains in control coming through turns 1 and 2 and about to swing it right to turn 3.
We've seen how strong Cardelus is down into turn 1. He made that brilliant move to take the lead, overtaking both Garcia and Sura earlier on, and has pretty much been untouched since. Now, these top 2 looks as if they're breaking away ever so slightly from Sura and Garcia. Lap time's not too dissimilar last time around, but this lap here looks as if they are breaking away from Sura. Sura perhaps struggling a little bit on the Boscaskura machine, so we hope, from a neutral perspective, that these two can latch back onto the back of this battle for victory. But either way, we've got a battle on our hands here out the front as Cardelus is defending relentlessly from Unai Oradre. Oradre, rookie in the category this year. European Superbike champion back in 2021 in the open category. So knows his way around a 600cc machine, does the number 10. Right, Garcia now makes a move on Sura. Oh, no, he doesn't. Sura closes to the door, runs a little bit wide, though, and Garcia has that inside line. Sura, though, with the inside line as they flick it right. Can Garcia get the cut back through here? He's eager to get his way through. We can see the front two breaking away, and he wants to have a go at trying catching these two out the front now.
Yeah, this is a cracking battle for third position. It looks like one has the advantage. Sura had the advantage coming through. Garcia saw the gap, but Sura closed the door shut, cut his nose off, and Garcia then attempted another inside line, and now he's going to go on the outside coming into turn one. Will he make this one stick just behind the front two? Sura looks to have the advantage here. Oh, well, actually, excuse me, it's Garcia who has the advantage. Around the outside, brilliant, brilliant stuff. That was a cracking last sector from both these riders. Brilliant battle for third, and it's Garcia who now holds the advantage. Meanwhile, out front, Cardelus is still our race leader. Oh, this battle's not done yet, is it, Tristan?
Doesn't look like it, as Sura has a little look to the inside, can't make it stick this time around though. A little look at the lap times on that last lap. The front two both with 45.1s. That's how they've broken away from Sura. Sura with a 45.9, so perhaps just struggling a little bit for pace. But maybe now, with Garcia ahead of him, he can just follow his lines, hit his markers, and use him to perhaps latch back onto the front two if Garcia has that amount of pace in the tank on that number 31 Fantic machine. You can see Oradre looking menacing on the back of Cardelus. Just wonder if he's had that pit bull, if he knows it's just him and Cardelus now, if he knows he's got that time to just, like we say, bide his time and find his way past. Cardelus definitely knows he's there, going a little bit defensive down into turn 10. Can hear him on the overrun. Oradre taking those wide swooping lines, trying to have a look. Lost a little bit of ground through there, but easy to bring that back down through the right-hander. You can see that left leg just floating off the side of the foot peg as he runs it through this FAC sector, this final sector. So quick on a Moto2 machine. Garcia's now dropped Sura. We'll have a look at the lap times as they cross the line and just see if he can make inroads on these front two.
Little bit of wheelie for Cardelus coming through that final corner. That's going to cost him just a little bit of drive. So maybe Unai Oradre can see his opportunity here. He's taken the inside line, but Cardelus is an absolute demon on the brakes coming into turn one. You're not going to outbrake him there.
Garcia is on the move then. 45.7s for the front two on that last lap. 45.4 for Garcia. So he is making inroads on these front two, and if these two start battling it out, Garcia will be well in the mix and we will have a three-bike battle for the win. Will he be able to catch these guys? And will Oradre be able to find his way through on Cardelus? Cardelus putting an incredibly defensive, you can see how defensive he goes. He makes sure there's no way through. It's a wide circuit here, the circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, but Cardelus making himself as wide as possible and making the circuit, the line that Oradre has to take, as tight as possible, making sure there is no way through.
Onto the green there, though.
Ooh, that's one to keep an eye on then from the number 18. Will we see a move down into turn 10? We've seen Oradre have a little look every time we go down the back straight then, one more time. No, not bothered about having a look this time around. Perhaps just keeping something in the tank for the last lap.
Yeah, you'd imagine just over 3 laps to go, just under 4 laps remaining. Oradre hasn't let Cardelus out of his sights, but you just know a move is coming as we see a yellow flag pop up on our timing screens. We'll bring you an update of who that is momentarily. But it is all about this battle at the front. Cardelus, very defensive, but brilliantly defensive. Oradre biding his times. Oh, it's Marco Tapia who's gone down. That's a shame. He was running quite well up in 7th. That hands Sam Wilford a good position, and he can get an equal best result for the campaign to date.
Oradre having a look again, but again, just as we saw last time round, Cardelus strong on the brakes. There's Tapia. Unfortunate end to his race for the number 8 rider. the 16-year-old from Mallorca. Picked up his best results last time out, but not to be this weekend. Oradre then, still looking menacing. Whatever happens here, it's an incredible ride for Oradre. His best result being 10th so far.
Yeah, absolutely super stuff. We said it beforehand as well. He always had that qualifying pace, always did some decent results, getting second row, third row. He's on the front row as well, but he's really turned it around now and translated that into Sunday pace. He is all over Cardelus here. Cardelus is going to have a lot of problems over the next couple of laps. It's only a matter of time before Oradre lines up that move. Cardelus, we've said this already, very defensive, but very good defensively. Brilliant on the brakes coming into turn one. But you just wonder, where is Oradre going to try and make his move?
Yellow flags through here, so no passing for Oradre this time around. That'll be for the crash for Marco Tapia. And number 31, Roberto Garcia's just dropped off the boil a little bit now. He put in that strong lap to try and catch those guys, but now he's just dropping off the pace and has fallen back into the clutches of Sura. So we've got a battle for the lead and a battle for third place. What more could you want for European Moto 2 action? Cardelus, though, putting the defensive ride of his life here in Barcelona. Desperate for that first victory, but so is Unai Oradre. Oradre right in his wheel tracks, right in his slipstream, down into turn one, goes towards the outside. Cardelus really, really defensive, but can Oradre make it round the outside? Too much of an ask.
Yeah, it's a lot to... Too much of an ask is the perfect way to say it, because Cardelus is just so good coming into turn one. Maybe at turn four, turn five, he's going to try a little move just to test her with only a couple runs left, or less than 2 laps to go. So will Oradre have a little look up the inside here? He's probably just a little bit too far back, so he might try to get the run to the line coming through into 5.
Right then, can Oradre muster up something special here to take not only his first podium, not only his first top 5, but his first victory in Moto 2. Like we say, Cardelus ever running that defensive line, making himself as wide as possible. Oradre having a little look here. Now, the yellow flag should be cleared down into turn 10. Will we see a move as we near the final lap of this race here in Catalonia? He's not having a look this time around. He's happy to settle for second at this point in time. Sura's made a move up into third place in the background there, and he looks as if he's gapping Garcia in the background, so that battle could be decided, but this battle at the front is far from being decided here. As we go through the final sector for the penultimate time. It's crunch time here in Moto 2. It's last lap time for these front two.
So Oradre is on the green there, but that won't come into effect. It's still not the last lap as you come around the final corner. He will need to be careful of that next time round. Oradre, will he get into the slipstream here of Cardelus coming into turn 1? Cardelus has been a demon on the brakes. Can he make a move at turn 1? He has a little look up the inside for sure, but Cardelus once again brilliant on the brakes. Next up, a passing opportunity is probably coming up at turn number 4 for Oradre. Cardelus in control as we swing it left and back right. Turn 3, long looping right-hander. If he makes an overtake here, I'd be mightily impressed, but that's a very difficult thing to do. Turn 4, will he make it stick in here, Tristan?
Not quite good enough into turn 4. There's another passing opportunity into turn 5. He's running a wide line. He's going to try and get the cut back to get the drive, to get himself underneath. Cardelus into turn 5, and is he going to make it stick? He's very, very tight. Is he going to run it wide? He doesn't. He makes it. Oh, no, he does. He does.
Cardelus has got the cutback, and they're side by side coming through here. This is what we wanted to see. They're going to flick it through 6. Coming up to 7, there's going to be another opportunity, but Cardelus holds the advantage.
Who wants it more, Cardelus or Oradre? They definitely both want it, but who wants it more? We're going to find out. They head down the back straight for the final time. This is possibly the final overtaking opportunity. Cardelus so tight through there. He's not letting any room for Oradre to get through, but Oradre saw that and he's trying to muster up something special on the flick to the right-hander. He can't make it stick though. Is he going to do a Valentino Rossi into the final corner? Are we going to see something special here, or has Cardelus got it in the tank through the penultimate corner for the final time. It's last corner time. Is Oradre going to muster up something? He's taking a raw wide line. Is he going to be able to get the drag to the line? It's a short drag to the line in Catalunya. But no, it's going to be Cardelus that takes his first victory in the Moto2 European Championship. A brilliant podium for Unai Oradre. Alberto Sura takes third place. Roberto Garcia in fourth. Rato rounds out the top 5. And what a battle we had on that final lap.
Absolutely super stuff. And what a defensive line from Xavi Cardelus coming around turn 10. We saw Oradre try to get the cut back and to drive out. I don't know how he did a late break, kept it pinned as well at all points, and absolutely no chance Oradre could get through. And that was the winning of the race. What a race. Brilliant performance from Cardelus. Thoroughly deserved win. But 25 points, as we can see here, he now moves to within 36 points of the absent Senna Aegis.
It is big in terms of the championship. Can he pick up another 25 points in race 2? And what a historic moment for the Andorran rider, taking his first victory here in the Moto2 European Championship. Incredible victory and an incredible wheelie there for the number 18. He takes victory ahead of Oradre. Alberto Sura did get the better of Garcia on those final laps to take P3 ahead of Roberto Garcia. Yari Ruiz rounding out the top 5 with Rato winning that battle. Ruiz winning the battle for 5th place, rounding out the top 5 ahead of Rato. Number 7th went to Monjado ahead of Sam Wilford and Piotr Beshakursky. Alex Toledo rounded out the top 10 ahead of Ryu, Volpi, Voigt, Paz and Toth, who rounded out your top 15. Oradre, though, hadn't finished inside the top 5. His best finish was actually 8th place going into this race, but now he has a podium and was so close to taking victory here in the Moto2 Championship. Sam Wilford goes to congratulate the number 10. A brilliant ride for Oradre. Previously ridden over in Supersport 300, picking up 1 win and 4 podiums from 2019 to 2021. Alberto Sura jumped up to a 600cc machine after riding over on the Grand Prix stage of the World Championship stage last year in Moto3. Failed to score a point last year, but now really coming to his own on that 600cc machine. Cardelus, though, rode the perfect defensive race, made sure there was no way through for Unai Oradre. Congratulated there by his teammate, the number 87, Gerard Ryu. And a historic moment for the Andorran. A moment he will never forget, and you can see the delight as he comes in. Stoppy there for the number 18. Almost can't believe it, and what a victory it was. Did it in fine fashion. Like we say, a perfect defensive race from the Andorran rider, and he's congratulated by his promo racing team. Finished every race so far has Cardelus, and now he's got that victory. He's been in Moto2 for donkey's years, since 2015, veteran of the category. It's his 4th podium of the year, and now his first victory, like we've said. Did 8 podiums across the 5 seasons. And there he is, Oradre. What a moment it's been for him. Possibly a breakthrough result for the number 10. He started from a little bit further back on the grid. Well, he started from 3rd, made his way straight up into victory contention. Lost a little bit of ground towards the beginning, but put in a very good race at the end and takes the fastest lap of the race by some margin, 44.2. Alberto Sura then picked up his first podium last time out in Portimao, and now he's got another one here in Barcelona. Can he go one better later on in race 2? We will yet to find out. Was very strong in the opening stages of the race, but didn't quite have it in the tank towards the end. And here is again that race-winning overtake. You can see the suspension doing its work there, down into turn 1. Down 2 riders in 1 corner. Incredible move there. And there was Oradre trying to make that move for victory, but Cardelus cut it tight. Did exactly what he needed to do, put his bike right in the way of the number 10. It was a drag to the line, but Cardelus took it from Oradre and Alberto Surra. An absolute barnstormer then here in Barcelona for the Moto2 European Championship. Perfect action to kick off the 600cc racing of the day. He's delighted with that one, and we will be hearing from the Andorran. Just now he's down there with Chris Jordan.
Javi, a first ever Moto2 win, 25 points for the championship, a superb performance here in Barcelona. Talk us through your race and how you're feeling.
Yeah, I'm very happy to achieve this first victory for sure. Lucky for us, Senna is not riding. It's a shame because I would like to win a race fighting with him, but it is what it is. So thanks to the team, the family sponsors, they bring me a good bike for this race. Let's see to make another good race, and for sure I will try to enjoy, because like this I will make a good result again and try to reduce the gap with Senna.
Okay, now in Catalan, please.
Sí, evidentment que content per aquesta plena victòria. Ha sigut un camí llarg. Està clar que m'hagués agradat guanyar lluitant amb el Senna, però bueno, les coses com són, s'ha lesionat, hagués pogut tocar amb un altre. He disfrutat molt sobre la moto aquesta cursa, l'equip m'ha donat una bona moto, gràcies a ells, als sponsors, a la família. Així que res, a intentar lluitar i disfrutar de la següent, i a veure si reduïm el gap amb el Senna al campionat.
Enhorabuena.
And here's how he did it then. It's not the way he wanted to get it. He wanted to beat Senna, but he'll take it as it comes. It was the first victory of his campaign since he started in the Moto2 Championship, but it was Garcia who took the whole shot down into turn one, ahead of Alberto Surra, who got a brilliant start from the second row. Cardelus didn't waste any time in getting back onto the front two, though, as he put the hammer down on that promo racing machine. It was gloves off between Garcia and Surra at the front. Garcia making moves on Surra, but then this brilliant move from Cardelus, 2-in-1 into the first corner, and he made it stick. And from then on, he was untouchable at the front of the race. We then had a 4-bike battle for the victory, and it was Cardelus from Garcia, Surra, and Oradre put himself well into the mix, setting the fastest lap of the race, catching the leading group and latching himself right onto the back of Cardelus. Garcia wasn't letting Oradre have it easy though, as he shoved it up the inside of the Spaniard. Oradre bit straight back though, sitting up his compatriot, and that allowed Surra to get through as well. And then we had Antonelli, unfortunately, crashing out. He had a bad start from the front row and then unfortunately crashed out of the race, but then back out the front. Tapir was another rider who crashed out, and that lost time for the AGR rider. Then it was this move on the final lap. Cardelus and Oradre for the victory. Surra and Garcia for third. Cardelus, perfect defensive run, got the cutback, put his bike exactly where it needed to be, and made sure there was no hope for victory for Unai Oradre. Still a brilliant result for the number 10, and a brilliant first victory for Cardelus. He held it until the checkered flag, put a brilliant defensive run down into turn 10 and held him off to the checkered flag. It was delight for the promo racing squad as he took victory, his first victory in Moto2 and a first podium for Oradre. Surra picks up his second podium in the category as well, and a brilliant ride from the Andorran rider. Right, then we get ready for the riders to head out onto the podium. That Andorran flag slapped bang in the middle of the rostrum for the first time.
Aquí el tenim, és l'equip de Promo Racing i és el Xavier Cardelus para.
Cardelus then announced as the winner, and Alberto Surra sat there waiting, the Italian waiting to go out onto the podium as he'll receive his dues on the Gascuro machine. The Italian rider on the Italian bike congratulates the team representative for Promo Racing. Oradre delighted with his first podium. An incredible, incredible run from the front row, and he'll be looking to do that again in race 2. But what a moment in the career for Xavi Cardelus. His first victory, didn't get it the way he wanted to. He wanted to beat Senna, which is fair enough. He's a racer, that's what they want to do, but he'll take it as it comes, and he's made considerable inroads in the championship. Whatever happens, even if Cardelus takes victory in race 2, Senna will still have an 11-point lead at the top of the standings. Representative for Promo Racing takes his trophy as Sura takes the third-place trophy here in Barcelona. The managing director of the circuit congratulates the riders, as Oradre delighted with the first podium and with second place, 20 points towards his championship campaign. But a moment that Cardelus will never forget. He is a Moto2 European Championship winner. He stands on the top step for the first time at what is essentially his home circuit, the closest circuit to home for the number 18. And we will hear the Andorran national anthem.
Ok, moltíssimes gràcies. Enhorabona, doncs, pel guanyador, per Xavi Cardelus.
Well, epic rendition of the Andorran national anthem sings through the circuit, the Barcelona, Catalunya, for Xavi Cardelus. They spray the champagne, he goes straight to the team representative. And then now to the teams and to the guys watching on at the bottom of the podium. Well, an absolutely barnstorming race then we had in the Moto2 European Championship. We wish Senna Agius all the best with his recovery after his big high side yesterday. Sitting out of these two races, we'll be back for Aragon later on in October. A big gap, big summer break for these guys. But if Cardelus can go into it, having scored 50 points, he'll be going into it with a big smile on his face. Here is the confirmation of the standings ends. Cardelus it was that took the win ahead of Oradre and Sura rounding out the podium. Roberto Garcia took 4th place after taking his first podium last time out. Yarith and Matteo Ratto were involved in a battle for 5th. Yarith getting the better of Ratto in the closing stages of the race. Francesco Mongiardo finished in 7th place ahead of Sam Wilford, with Piotr Bershikursky in 9th. Alex Toledo rounded out the top 10 ahead of Gerard Rio, Matteo Volpi, Harrison Voigt and Kyle Paz. Maxwell Toth rounded out the top 15, the American rider, ahead of Philip Rehacek and Charles Aubry down in 17th spot, the French rider on the Calex machine. Unfortunately, we lost Tapia, Antonelli, Montero and Channon Inter from the race. They'll be looking to set that straight in race 2 later on. A brilliant race then we had, and here is how it has affected the championship. The gap is now down from 61 points to 36 for Senna Agius, with Xavi Cardelus taking victory. Mattia Ratto now up into 3rd place, consolidates that, 56 points adrift of Agius ahead of Sura and Ruiz. Garcia is down there in 6th place ahead of Carlos Tatai, who's also out with injury as well. Marco Tapia rounds out the top 10 in the championship ahead of Nico Antonelli, who's had a run of bad luck so far this season. Oradre jumps up to 12th place ahead of Volpi, Rodriguez, Monjado, Rui and Harrison Foyt, rounding out the top 17. Bershikursky sits still in 18th place in the championship ahead of Kyle Paz. 21st place went to Toth ahead of Channon Inter, down 22nd. Delight then for the Andorran rider as he takes his first victory. You could see the emotion, the moment of realisation that he is now a Moto2 European Championship winner. A milestone he's been chasing for quite some time now. Said in his interview, he didn't want it to happen this way, but he'll take it as it comes.